Planet Nine. How's it going?
It's going well, thank you. Nice to be here. A pleasure to spend some time together. I'm excited to hear, yeah, what's going to happen in the talk.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I'm excited that you're here as well because you guys are doing a huge airdrop, and I really think you guys have a lot of great alpha to drop to all of our listeners regarding the airdrop that you're doing. So I can't wait to dive into that. Like I said, just give me a couple more minutes while I figure out the speakers, and then we can dive right in, please. Vitalis, I'm just trying to bring you up here for some reason it's just being a little bit difficult, but I am trying to invite you to speak, but um, just give me a quick second here while we try to get this all figured out. Hey, I can hear you, Vitalis. Nice to see you here, bud.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Thanks for having me, Amy.
That being said, just missing one more speaker from Particle Inc. They'll be here relatively soon. I think in the meantime, the listeners have waited long enough. So let's just kind of dive in and start doing some intros. So let me start off with Planet Nine. Who am I talking to from Planet Nine? And what are you guys doing? I know. Give us a little intro for everybody here listening.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Rasmus. I'm the CMO over at Planet IX or Planet 9. You can use both. That's very fine. And yeah, we are an NFT-based strategy game. We've been on chain for almost 2 years now, and we've been in the top of how to say Polygon projects in terms of gas guzzlers for almost a full 2 years, I think. We have a pretty high user base. We've had a really good retention rate, and we have a shit ton of NFTs that you can use in all sort of ways to make up our game. And at the core, it's a play to earn game, and we are launching later this year a competitive esports angle also to the game. So I myself am very excited about this edition.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. And for everybody listening, Planet Nine is one of our great partners. Pretty much harnessing the best solutions that they can with their footprint data. So that's really exciting. I'm happy for you guys to be here. And if you're on our website, go check out the Planet Nine dashboard. I'm sure you guys would be very shocked at the depth of the data that we got going on for those guys. Anyways, I'm gonna pass it over to Helix. It's nice to have you here, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Like, finally, like you said, been collaborating since the longest. Must have been like more than a year ago, I think. First time we met, we talked. I was still at Metrics DAO back then, still am in some capacity. Um, I'll just start at the start for the introduction. So I'm Helix, also known as HLX19. I've just started Syntax, which is a weekly panel exclusively with blockchain analysts with whom we host data-driven discussions about like current and relevant topics to exchange insights and grow the understanding within the crypto community. I'm also involved with Metrics DAO, currently as a part-time advisor on growth, and previously as a full-time contributor on growth. And within all these capacities, I talk with a lot of analysts, right? And it's mostly about their research. Um, so I talk with them about their insights and trying to see what I can learn from them. And some of those discussions have been on airdrops. So basically, today I hope to actually just relay some of those, let's call it aggregated insights. Yeah, so I'm excited to get into it. Also, a little side note, I'll have to drop off about midway, just FYI.
All right, man. It's no problem. I'm just happy to have you here, even if it's just for the first half. Next, I'm passing over to Vitalis from Ladder. How's it going, bud?
Hello, hello. All is good. Pretty busy week, but still everything is fine. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm operations director and co-founder of Ladder, and previously I had entrepreneurial background. Used to be operations director at Cointelegraph and operations strategy at Chainstack, and now I'm on builder side. So Ladder is NFT automated market maker protocol with GameFi focus. So basically idea is very simple that many in-game items are very standardized and there is no reason to open OpenSea choosing the same boxes, the same swords. Basically, all the user need is having this buying or selling this item by the best price in one click with low slippage. So basically, that's what we are providing as AMM solution. And right now we're like on the final sprint of our testnet, launching on the mainnet in August, and we are also in process of slow airdrop, I would say. So basically, we're rewarding users for targeted actions that are beneficial for a protocol, and basically also should introduce users to protocol itself. So that's the way how we are kind of our strategy of using airdrop for targeted users, not for Sybil hunting and airdrop mining. Yep. So that's mostly it.
Well, Vitalis, I'm happy to have you here, man. I'm really excited to kind of hear your opinions as we dive into airdrops. I especially want to hear about this new slow airdrop strat you got going on as well. Sounds very interesting. And then, last but not least, we have Particle Inc. Amy, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? Glad to have. Thank you for having me this morning. It's super early. I'm on the West Coast in LA. Just finished up our morning spaces at 7 a.m., so I'm here. Particle Inc. is an IP based on AR. We had an interactive experience in Las Vegas and a real life kind of interactive light show and AR experience. And then in the last year or so, we got Animoca and Gemini and a bunch of other companies to back us. And now we are making an AR game and bringing it to a broader audience. And minting our Genesis NFTs later this summer. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. I kind of played myself as well. As someone who's also on the West Coast, I hit up these 8 a.m. spaces, and every time I'm like, why? Why did I do this? Anyways, doesn't matter. We do it because we're talking about airdrops, all right? And let me dive right in, okay? So, airdrops are becoming more and more standard, right, as a way for protocols to interact, grow, and reward community members for a various number of reasons, right? So, as Web3 continues to expand, so does the amount of airdrops campaigns. And pairing that with a steady influx of new Quest protocols, airdrops seem to be here to stay. So, in this discussion, guys, I really want to hear all of our panel's thoughts on engagements and retention that is acquired from the airdrop campaigns you guys are doing, and then I also really would like to discuss the ROI of the airdrops. Right? Is it really worth it for protocols to be dumping all of these tokens, even if it's been planned in the marketing budget for whatever? I want to know, has it been worth it? So, I guess before we dive into the questions, if you have anything you would like to ask the panelists, you can always leave it down in the questions or in the comment box below. And let's retweet the room. Just get your friends in here. And if you guys want to answer the question, just throw up your hand and I'll pick the hands as they go one by one. So, before we really dive into the airdrops themselves, in your guys' opinion, what factors go into an airdrop campaign that makes it successful, right? What needs to be going into a campaign for an airdrop to really kind of make it successful? Love anyone that wants to go, just throw up your hands and I'll call on you. Helix, let's go.
Yeah, sure. I'll just take it. Um, so I've talked to a lot of analysts about this, and obviously there are like a lot of factors. I'm just thinking back on the ones that stood out to me from my conversations with them. A real obvious one is just size, right? So it needs to be big enough to generate buzz, because in a way, that's a lot of times what it's about, raise awareness. I think if you take it a bit further, right, I would say integration is a big thing. So by that I mean, if you do an airdrop for an ecosystem that's not really alive yet, so it doesn't have dApps or anything to do, it's going to be hard to really see success from that airdrop. And that also comes with another factor that I would call it like stickiness. So what you want to see is like after the campaign, users obviously are supposed to stick around and hold on to their token, right? And not like dump them as soon as they get them. That also partly has to do with that, what I call integration. But I would also, it's not just that there's stuff to do in the ecosystem, there also has to be a reason for them to stay around after the airdrop. And then a final factor I would say is basically like clarity, right? So users really like it. It really helps if it's really clearly communicated what actions they should do in order to qualify for the airdrop. That sounds like a no-brainer, but it's really vital. That's what I'll add on this point. I'm very curious about what the other panelists think here.
And I'm also curious as well. You said you want to make it so that the users don't immediately dump their tokens. Do you guys think there should be a lockup period with the airdrop tokens so that this doesn't happen right off the rip?
I can add a little bit to Helix's. I think it was some good points. I don't know about in terms of lockup. I mean, it changed a little bit also over time. You go back far enough, and people would you just get the airdrop and you didn't know. And if you had used it was a big thing in DeFi. If you had used some kind of platform, you would be rewarded retrospectively, but you wouldn't know that it was coming. So so that kind of speculation, and if it's coming, that the mystery in it can be a big factor. But on other hands, like also people maybe want to know what to do. Like now you're seeing the Blur airdrop, very obvious what you have to do because that incentivizes you to trade. And these two things are a little bit sitting at opposite sides of the spectrum. And I think I'm seeing more bigger projects now use like multiple airdrops as a thing. Like Optimism did their airdrop, and you'd then be rewarded in a second run if you engaged in the ecosystem. I think they even had also these different quests you could do to try out everything to get to know, and you didn't know then what exactly you would get, or how much you'd get, or how it would work, but you knew that you would be rewarded. And it's a little bit what Blur did also. You don't know how much you're going to get extra, but you will get extra if you do more. um, so I mean, I'm a little on the fence about how clear it should be, because there's definitely a sense of the mystery that makes people also think like, oh yeah, but you know, that I mean, everybody who's in this space already is a little bit into exploring and um, how to say, what is curious, and it's more interesting sometimes to imagine what can be than have the cold facts right in front of you.
That's interesting that you brought up the mystery part of things, because I think there's also kind of a double-edged sword where, for example, I was talking with some of the boys that got the ARB airdrop, and they were quite shocked at how little that they got compared to, say, some other protocols, right? So, having this kind of mystery as well, right? If you're getting less than you're expecting based on what you've been doing in the ecosystem, that could kind of be a turnoff, don't you think?
Yeah, this is also where I haven't seen any statistics on how many people are positively surprised and how many are negatively surprised, but I think that's also kind of hard to find out, because you need everybody to kind of let you know that that's a shit ton of work. So, I mean, maybe it depends a little bit about sentiment. Also in space, I mean, airdrop is significantly easier when the bull market is raging than when it's not. Also, just for amount of eyes that's around. So I think there's probably a lot of maybe not unknown factors that plays into it, but a lot of outside.
Hey guys, can I contribute something?
Yeah.
Cool. I wanted to say that
Yeah, go ahead.
it's kind of interesting. I I participated in a few airdrops last year, and some of the ones that I had ended up becoming very valuable. And again, this is bull market last year, so not compared to this year. But I think what's interesting is that you have to balance both the thought that something is free and it's completely useless and it's free, so I hate it, and it's maybe a spam NFT or a spam airdrop, to number two, oh my God, I got this free thing that's now worth so much money and I want to keep it forever. And there's so many other people who want it as well, right? So I think those are two interesting dynamics that people face, because you're like, oh, well, I got it free. I guess let's call it like the Azuki Beans airdrop, right? Like when they did that was sort of the first large airdrop that they gave to everyone who held an Azuki. They gave them all beans. I got one of my friends was like, oh, I have 3 Azukis. You can have one of my beans. Like, what difference does it make? I just got it for free. But then when people wanted it and the price shot up, then they were like, wait, I should hold it. But then they were like, well, I got it free, so I don't care. Let me sell it. So it became really interesting and weird. And I think that I want to guess that a lot of this was maybe wash trading. I guess we didn't have footprint analytics at that time to look at it. But I think, it was like almost like artificial scarcity, right? So if you're going to drop something free, you got to create artificial scarcity to make sure it's super exciting for people to want it more. Anyway, so that's my take on it.
No, it's great. Now, is there anything else anyone wants to add before I dive into the second question? I know,
Yeah.
Alice, you had to disconnect there. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I would like to just start from the question what basically airdrop is. And airdrop is just one of the marketing channels, but pretty unique and new. And that is why we've seen this kind of very interesting and unique situations when users were getting 5 figures amount airdrop. But basically, airdrop is skipping marketing channels and paying not for marketing, but paying directly for end customer. So basically, if you know your end customer and can identify it properly on chain, you're just paying him for joining and using your protocol instead of spending the same amount of money on other marketing channels. And I think that it is kind of EV plus strategy because it is avoiding middlemen, and that's really unique and great. And again, probably that's this type of innovation that crypto provided to many industries, but of course, it is abused by Sybil farmers and other ways, and that's where on-chain analytics is essential. So basically, again, if we should not go away from the basics. If protocol as a business needs user, it is just question whether it can get their targeted users using this airdrop as a tool. If not, then probably it will pop up at the end. If yes, then that's great because it's much better to pay users than to pay marketers. And I think that it used to be pretty same for big tech companies like Uber or basically paying users with vouchers and other stuff, and their acquisition cost was like really high. I believe that they started from $500 per user or something like that. Like it's incredibly high, and it used to drop month from month. And I think the same is happening in crypto. So basically, we are passing this euphoric stage, and now it's becoming just one of the tools, one of other tools. And I really doubt that we see 5 or 6 figure airdrops in the future. But I still think that like in terms of acquisition cost, airdrop is one of the most effective strategies in crypto.
It's crazy that you bring up these high figure airdrops because Planet 9 is giving away 5 million IXT tokens, which is just an insane amount of tokens in their upcoming airdrop. That's why I had to bring them on. I cannot believe the amount these boys are dropping. That's crazy. Anyways, besides, I kind of want to dive in the second question here, and that is besides the standard token airdrops, what other kind of airdrop campaigns have you guys seen? And what scenario do these different type of campaigns kind of best fit, right? So I've also seen some NFT airdrops, right? Emmy was talking about the Azuki beans, which is kind of a little different, right? We don't know what to kind of do with those things, but it was also quite successful. So what other kind of airdrops have you guys seen that's not just tokens? And, what's kind of the best fit for these campaigns?
Yeah, so one thing that it was mentioned before, I had to think of this. What really comes to mind for me when I think about airdrops, well, one is the one Blur did, right? Hugely successful. Blur launched October last year. I think it started doing airdrops early this year. And it's like now it's like a market leader in the NFT space, and it completely obliterated um, OpenSea, which was by far the leader in the space at that point. Uh, so hugely successful program. Um, the like the thing I think they did is more treated like a loyalty program and have like this ongoing thing where they do like not just one airdrop, but they do an airdrop every season, right? And then it's also like they add an element of gamification to it. So you could get these care packages, um, which were ranging from uncommon to mythical. So that like adds an element of like, ooh, nice, cool. I want this, right? And one thing I thought was genius that they did, it's like a very PvP thing, but it's like the loyalty rate. So like you would get more, uh, you would get a bigger airdrop if your loyalty rating would be higher. And you would only get 100% loyalty rating if your NFTs were exclusively listed with them and nowhere else. So that's how they got like a big share of the NFT market. Um, I don't know if it's like how different like the question like what's a standard token airdrop like what's a standard airdrop anyway, right? I think they're all like a bit different, and to work they have to be a bit different, but this is just one that really caught my attention, and I thought it was like exceptionally well executed.
Yeah, I also kind of like what Blur did with the airdrop for retention rate stuff. Don't talk to me about what Blur did to NFT trading volume during that time, though. I can talk all day about how much I dislike that. But but whatever. I do think it is a great example for airdrops, and I really think the Blur airdrop kind of got everyone's. It's one of those campaigns that got everybody's attention just with how great they really set everything up. So, is there anyone else want to add to any kind of unique airdrops that they saw that's a little bit more different than kind of the standard ones? Feel free to pop in. If not, I can move to the next question.
I think NFT is probably the next and second option for airdrops, no doubt. And like basically, what else you can drop except token is NFT. And recently, I also seeing new mechanics, and it is SFT. So basically, SFT is like voucher for future tokens, and we're going to have one of the elements of our soft launch at Ladder is going to be tradable SFTs as well. So it's a good way for projects who are planning to have token, who has NFTs, but do not want to release token right now, like in conditions like that. So SFT is sort of a solution. Again, it is something pretty new, and we'll see how does it work. But at least it sounds pretty suitable, at least for current market conditions.
So essentially, you're talking about tradable IOUs, hey?
Yes, basically something like that. Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool, you guys. And that opens up a whole new realm of speculation. Imagine tradable IOUs, you guys, crazy. Anyways, I'm going to dive into the third question, and this one gets really interesting. And that's bots. Every airdrop's biggest crux, you guys. We, as anyone who's done airdrops or is thinking about doing airdrops, we hate bots. So what are some tools and tips for protocol owners running an airdrop to limit the amount of bots, right? And is there any 100% foolproof way to make bots and airdrops obsolete?
Okay, so I want to go again. I'll keep it short. Actually, I want to add an element to this question because I don't really have the answer here. But since we're talking to protocol owners here, I'd love to get their input on this as well. Because me, as a coming from a more like growth and marketing background, and like talking with analysts, like one thing that like stood out to me is that in some ways it might not even be that big of a deal because at the end of the day, the point is like generating buzz and awareness. So you kind of just want to see a number go up, right? And the thing is like, yeah, but of course, ultimately you want genuine users. But I think if you just like if number goes up, then partly it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It generates so much buzz that like after the non-organic activity, organic activity will come. I just wanted to add that. I'll have to catch your answers like on the rebound, on the re-listen. I have to drop out. I have my own space for syntax at the top of the hour. Still need to prepare for that. Um, really love joining this space. I'm sorry it's so short. I'll catch the re-listen. And if people want to join our space right after, of course, you're more than welcome. You can find the tag to syntax in my bio. Um, Alex, thanks for having me. Shout out Footprint. Thanks a lot.
Hey, happy you're able to join, man. Even for the first half, it's really happy. And yeah, for sure. After we're done here, feel free. I'll tell everybody go join that syntax space. All right. Now, bots, right? I want to talk. I want to hear your opinion on this one, Planet Nine. What have you guys kind of done to limit or tackle the amount of bots that are going to be participating in your upcoming airdrop?
Yeah, so this was actually a big thing for us because we have a quite significant amount of users, and we spent a lot of time the past year,
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
especially making sure that we weed out the bots. Like every time we'd launch something new, we'd see like artificial user engagement shoot up, and then we try to then maybe we move around a few things, and then we could see it settle to what was more organic growth. And one thing that we have with our airdrop now is that it's very much merged with getting to learn how to play the game. So it means that you earn points, kind of like what you do with Blur. You know, the more you list or the more you trade or the more you bid, um, you will earn points towards a higher allocation of the mystery boxes. And for ours, it's we have this whole setup of like a quest system, almost if you imagine other quest platforms like Sealy or something, and you can then perform these quests that earns you points, and the higher points you get, the more you climb in the ranks of the airdrop allocation. And all of the ways to earn points, very few of them will make sense for bots to do. So you basically learn to play the game, you get better at the game as you increase your airdrop allocation. But it also means that it's not really possible for bots to get very far in that, so it's not particularly beneficial for any bot system to engage with that.
Yeah, it's just too hard to program the bot to actually game these quest campaigns that you have set up, hey, with how you actually have to force them to um, play the game. And also, what I think is really interesting as well, being one of your guys' partners, you actually have it as a quest to follow Footprint and interact with Footprint, which is pretty sweet. So got to give you props to that. Now, Emmy or Vitalis, is there anything that you guys wanted to add around kind of bots and genuine users surrounding airdrops? How do we reward our genuine users over bots?
I mean, with anything free, you're going to get a bunch of bots, right? Because it takes one person a minute to write something to go crazy and get everything. I think that I think there's some like basic kind of like web 2 kind of things you could do with captcha and like wallet addresses and things like that. But I think it's like a necessary evil that when you do an airdrop, most of the uh a lot of the people are bots, a lot of the users, and even more importantly, the users that aren't bots, they're just pump and dumpers or something like that as well. So you want to prevent that. So it's like you prevent the computer bots, but you also want to prevent the people that are just sort of there to like kind of cause nuisance, right? So I think that the people that cause nuisance are almost worse than the computer bots, because the computer bots, it's very easy to figure out who's what. um I think it's valuable just to say, hey, look, are there like priorities or things that you have to do to get this, or wallets that have a certain snapshot of something beforehand. I think those kind work really, really well, because for a bot to actually get some type of other token or NFT in their wallet, that's a little harder for them. So I think just putting more kind of little guardrails in the beginning would really be helpful.
Absolutely. But Vitalis.
Yeah, in general, I think that there is pretty interesting innovation. I know there is, I forgot the name, but there is not only one service that allowing to kind of validate interacting user with UI, because most of the bots are acting on chain, so directly with the contract. So that is one of the ways of filtering. So basically, if user is interacting with UI, it means that it is much less likely it is bot. And if it is purely on-chain interaction with contract, then very high chances it is bot. And at Ladder, we just recently started. So, and again, it's probably good advantage that we can react to some anomalies and find solutions. But from the one hand, we have similar approach as Planet X, as we basically offering quests that are a bit more complex than a single transaction, and that is why it must be cutting very simple sibling. And secondly, I think that basically moving slowly is also a solution, and testing things out on different target audiences and then moving forward could be a good way. Again, it depends on the size and the target audience of protocol. So for example, for layer 2 like Arbitrum or Optimism, it won't be likely a strategy for them. But for us, as more like for niche protocol, I think it's a pretty good way.
One thing that we're doing at Footprint to help people out when it comes to dropping their airdrops is actually doing some wallet tagging. Doing some cohort analysis, breaking down the different wallets into different tags based on what kind of user they are at the protocol. Now, we can be something as simple as looking at Planet Nine cohorts where we have active gamers, dormant gamers, NFT holders, stuff like this. And we can really kind of break down a wallet profile of a user's transactions and even the amount of time that a user has spent on a protocol, right? I mean, if you guys looking at a user or a wallet and it's spending 23 hours, say playing a game or just on a protocol, that's a little bit too long. Like this guy's got to sleep, this guy's got to go eat, this guy's got to go to the bathroom for all we know, right? So there is different ways you can break down um, break down bots by just using the tagging system that we kind of are working with at Footprint. There's also many ways, but this is just one solution that we're going with now. Now, this question isn't on the list, you guys, but I think it's a good one. And I'm curious on your thoughts on integrating multiple quest campaigns from like multiple different quests campaigns from these airdrops. So, for example, using like Link 3, using Galaxy, using Quest N, using Zeely, right? There's all these different protocols for campaigns. What's you guys' opinion on doing multiple at the same time for the same airdrop? Is that effective? Love to hear your thoughts. Maybe I'll throw it over to Planet Nine since I know you guys have done a bunch of different or experimented with a couple different campaign protocols. So, love to kind of hear your thoughts on this one.
You mean in terms of protocols, you're talking about Sealy and
Yeah, like
these
Zeely, like
places?
Questen. There's a lot of different campaign
Yeah.
platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I know that my team has spent a lot of time on different ones. I think there's definitely validity to being on multiple. Some work better for certain things than others, and some have a lot of use cases that you can do free before you end up in a paid situation, and others the other way around. But I mean. I think everyone will always gravitate towards where it feels like it's the smoothest to use and where there's also the biggest community. And it feels to me like, at least, that right now that is definitely Sealy. That's why we moved most of our quest focus over there, actually, just because it's just smooth, really smooth the way it works, and the way every integration works. So I know that my team is very happy with using that right now. We've used also, and we still use a lot of dQuest. We worked a lot with them. They've been really nice in setting up specific needs that we had in terms of on-chain transactions. Our game is almost entirely on-chain, so we have a lot of transactions. That's also why we are very happy with the partnership that we have with you guys, because there's so much to track, and it's very nice for us to have a beautiful dashboard to bring it all together.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you guys, I'm talking about retention. Now, this next question is regarding retention after airdrops, right? So, airdrops on paper look really great for engagement, getting thousands to tens of thousands of participants. But not just any participant, right? We get happy and eager ones, right? So, how can we turn this short term boost in engagement to permanent retention?
I think it's providing value.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
sorry.
that's very good. Go ahead, please. Yeah, please go
Oh,
ahead.
thank you.
I'll be next
Hey
one.
guys, sorry, I'm a little
Of
bit sick
course.
today, so I apologize if my voice sounds a little weird. Um, I think it's about retention is about more of like creating value. Like why do I need to keep this besides just selling it and getting some quick money, right? I remember let's call it the crypto craze 2017, back a long time ago. Everyone was just all signing up for airdrops, and a lot of big chains actually airdropped and started their their entire ecosystems with airdrops. I think that the best ones have really gave people reason to hold the original airdrop. Like, hey, if you get this airdrop, I remember I got one last year and they were like, I just signed up for it. I was like, okay, I guess I'll sign up for this airdrop for this NFT. And then they were like, oh, now you have this airdrop, you can buy something. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll only buy it if there's, value. But um, they kept giving value to the people who held the original airdrop. And then it was really hard to get that moving forward. So I think that's the main reason, is just to provide extremely more value for it, besides just flipping the coin.
Yeah, maybe kind of giving a little loyalty rewards for the longer that you do hold it, or extra rewards in the next airdrop or something like this, right? Vitalis, it's all yours.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I agree on value, absolutely. And another thing that basically it is retention. So, and we were discussing how to avoid bots, and it was really good note that basically users that are going to dump your tokens right after receiving it are not better than bots. So I think that probably also part of the strategy is if you're getting some random users or not very well targeted users during airdrop campaign, your goal is to make them interact with your platform and find value and turn them more loyal. So basically, if you're having chances and these touching points with users, you as a company have um, unique opportunity to with every touch make this user more loyal. So basically I think this part of retention and loyalty, and loyalty is basically what is turning users into community members, is a key. So like work on this direction, and it is for sure the hardest part. So basically even with Blur we see that they implemented this points approach, and it helped them to achieve leading place in NFT trading volumes, but at the same time, it kind of affected dramatically on NFT market itself, and now NFT market itself is struggling. So I think it's very tricky thing.
Right, right. Is there anything that you wanted to add, Planet Nine?
No, not really. Actually, I think those were good points.
Great. All right, you guys. I got one more question, and then we're gonna bring it over to the audience. For you guys, if you do have any questions and you don't want to come up and speak, feel free to leave them in the comments below there in that bottom right corner. And quick little room reset if you want to come up, or if you want to get your friends in here, let's retweet the room. We got about 15 minutes left. Yeah, I'd love to get your friends in here for those last 15 minutes. Also, DeFi Maniac, I see you up requesting to speak. I'll get you up here in just a second here. Let me just ask this last question and then I'll bring you up. So anyways, you guys, this last question, very simple. And that is ROI on airdrops, all right? Are protocols getting their value? Now, Planet Nine, this is a great question for you because you guys are doing this huge airdrop, right? 5 million IXT tokens. That is crazy. So, how are you guys expecting to get, some of that ROI back?
I mean, so our airdrop here has been baked into the contract for since we started, and a big part of our game in general is to funnel the IXT value into the ecosystem. So the whole game actually overall is aimed at pushing most value back into the ecosystem when like the fees that we take for everything, and so part of this whole grander long-term plan was that we would have some unlocks of IXT token over time, and that's part of both the ecosystem building for a sustainable ecosystem over time, and also as a marketing thing and a health of the community. So it's nothing that we sat down now and decide like, okay, what's the ROI on this? We just looked into how do we make this the most interesting for newcomers, and at the same time, how do we reward also retrospectively users who's been with us for a long time, grinding. So it's been more of scoping out the best value for the users, actually, more than a ROI perspective. And this is also not the first time we dropped this many tokens. We've had, I think, maybe roughly the same amount of tokens before, over two smaller airdrops. And at that point, also the token price was significantly higher. So the value at the time of the airdrops have been massive. And we were really happy the first few times we dropped it to see that most of our users just used the tokens to play the game with. That was a little bit of an excitement, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing when this airdrop is done and it's allocated to see what's going to happen to it there. But the ROI, we've not spent so much time on now. That's been built in a long time ago.
I love that. I love the fact that, with good tokenomics, these airdrops just get funneled right back into the game. I'm going to keep it real. Planet Nine's got probably some of the most complicated, coolest tokenomic systems I've ever seen. I still go into the white paper and try to understand it. It's cool. It's cool. Not there yet, but maybe next time when I go check it out. That being said, Vitalis or Emmy, is there anything that you guys wanted to add on top of what Planet Nine was saying there?
Yeah, I really like that. I think that when when people do airdrops, that actually the token actually does stuff to kind of get excitement going. That's kind of cool, right? It's like kind of like freemium of a software or something. You give people like 5 days free or a week free or 2 weeks free to try something. And then, after that period, they get excitement, they get to try it. So I think that's a really great mechanism to jumpstart an ecosystem. I think you guys are really smart for doing something like that. And I hope that more companies are able to do that. I think with NFTs, it's a little harder, right? Because you're like, can I give a commemorative early batch NFT? I've talked about it with our team to say, hey, can we give 100 of the people that were holding, who were with us for a long time, to say, can we give them a free, commemorative NFT airdrop, just so they can have it, and that guarantees them a whitelist or something like that. And then the question becomes, how valuable can those be? What if the price drops? What if there is no value? So that is also something to consider, is that what if everyone starts dumping and it becomes fun in your organization, right? So those are things to consider, but I do like it when you guys have the excitement of like a freemium by gifting it to everyone.
Yeah, I think when we come to NFTs and airdrops, I really think if you drop, say, a loyalty plan, a programmed NFT, right? The longer you hold this NFT, the more rewards you'll get over time. And I think something like that is a really good kind of solution. Also, Kearney, I see you from DGens from In Public. I'll bring you guys up, as well as DeFi Maniac. I'll bring you two up in a second here. I just want to hear Vitalis' thoughts on this question, and then I'll bring you up.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think for later, it is pretty early to make conclusions on ROI, but in general, of course, we're doing airdrop because based on our calculations, it is, I think, probably up to 10 times more effective than doing just basic marketing campaigns. And like, if we take an example of big airdrops, I see a lot of sort of analytics and threaders are writing threads that these and hundreds of million worth of tokens were given away for airdrop. But basically, these tokens were not entering open market right from the airdrop. Some of users sold instantly, some of users sold later on cheaper price, on higher price, etc., etc. So basically, it is creating circulation. And if we would compare airdrop to option of doing airdrop and option of selling tokens to VCs, I believe airdrop is much more net value, especially for average users, not big whales, than any other types of token distribution. So yeah, I believe that airdrop is still a good thing. Not so hyped as it used to be. No 7 figures, but still very effective.
Yeah, so you're saying was what VCs love when you have airdrops on the roadmap, hey?
No. I'm saying that
Oh.
basically, if you're selling your token to VC and the VC is dumping it on the market, I do not think that it is better for token than giving the same amount token but for 1,000 users, and then these users are taking their own decision separately on whether selling it or not, especially taking into account that many of these users are your end customers. So it's kind of more fair model for every participants, and yeah, that's my main point.
Got it. I brought up Kearney from DGens and in public. So I'm happy to have you up here, buddy. We're just chatting airdrops. You got any questions for any of the panelists here with regarding airdrops, or is there anything that you wanted to bring up about airdrops from your experience?
Yeah, no, I was just listening in, and I figured I'd come up as a speaker. Thanks for having me up, Footprint. Really appreciate it. Yeah, no, I think this conversation is really interesting. I just think in general, like, I think airdrops are essential depending on the market, you know. Currently we're experiencing, there's just not a lot of liquidity. There's not a lot of things going on. It's really boring. And to be honest, if you want any sort of attention right now, airdrops are low key essential. I mean, look at Blur, what they did. They were able to claim a huge market share. However, I guess the question I want to bring up is, are airdrops, sustainable for the long run? Are they, is it better to kind of hold out and try to grow organically as possible without doing an airdrop? I'm curious to hear some of the panelists' thoughts on that, kind of the longevity of
I
airdrops.
think this is a great question for Planet Nine because I think he said that they've been cooking up these 5 million token airdrop campaigns like multiple times, which is just blows my mind. I mean, that's a ton of tokens. And they're saying that with good tokenomics, these tokens just get funneled right back into the ecosystem. Maybe I'll pass the mic over for you to expand a little bit more.
Yeah, you mean in terms of that the whole aspect of not knowing that it's coming, the value of that, right? That's what it's saying. Or
No, I said so. Kearney's saying, yeah, maybe you repeat the question there for Planet Nine.
Yeah, my bad. Pretty much my question is, can airdrops be sustainable in the long run? Are they a reliable marketing source?
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think they are to a certain extent. I definitely see your point in that if you can't keep doing it forever, but and I think you maybe also said that to jumpstart, kickstart it is a really great thing, but then you of course need to expand upon it and build upon it. But I think it's often also just a good way to get it into some of the right hands, maybe. I mean, definitely in terms of what Blur did and a lot of the DeFi protocols over time is that it gets allocated to the users who are most likely to interact with the platform. So it's kind of like segmenting your market and finding the best fit and then just giving it for free instead of trying to advertise to them. But I don't think long term that you can just as a product keep airdropping forever. Then I'm not sure if the tokenomics are gonna that worked out smoothly, I think, over the long term for sure.
Got it. Vitalis or Emmy, is there anything that you guys wanted to add on to this answer here?
I think Planet Nine answered perfectly on this question. I would like say that I totally agree with almost everything. So yeah, nothing to add from my side.
Cool. Well, with that being said, if there's anybody else that wants to come up, request and ask any more questions for the panelists, I'd be more than happy to do that. If not, I'll kind of just start wrapping up, give a little final thoughts, final shill before we end this space. So I'll give you guys, I'll start doing a little bit of final thoughts. If you guys want to come up and request, ask a question, feel free to do that right now. In the meantime, I'm going to pass it over to Vitalis, and hear a little bit of final thoughts, a little final shill for the boys.
All right, thank you. Yeah, as I mentioned before, Ladder is now during slow airdrop phase, and as we're on the testnet, basically we're rewarding users for interacting with the testnet, and I believe it's easiest way and the last 1 week to get easiest and cheapest interactions, because as we go to the mainnet, then difficulties of the tasks are going to increase, and basically it's our general strategy to increase difficulty. So yeah, just suggesting those users who are interested in GameFi and in trading NFTs, check out Ladder and check out our airdrop page and learn more. We'll be happy to share more insights. And by the way, Planet Nine really interested in what you're building. A lot of good mentions, so would be happy to chat with you as well, and probably think how can we cooperate during our mainnet launch, guys.
We
Definitely.
love connecting the boys. That is what's up. Let's go. That's what these spaces are about. So I really hope you guys kick it off in the DMs, man, and get something going. Emmy, let's pass it over to you for some final thoughts.
Oh gosh, I was on mute. Hello. Final thoughts. I think that I love the fact of airdrops to get people engaged, right? I love seeing I used to open my wallet up and there would be like some type of fraud airdrop in there, but then sometimes there would be some cool stuff. So I think it's really fun for engagement of the community and to bring awareness. So I think that people should continue to do them, and I think that it's like freemium. If people see value in it, they're going to engage with their time and their money and their value. And so I really hope that the community keeps on doing them and doesn't let a few bad eggs ruin the whole thing for everyone. So I'm so excited for Planet Nine, for you guys' airdrop coming up, and we'll be supporting you. And if you guys ever want to speak on ours, we speak Monday through Friday for Spaces for Particle Inc. So DM me. Actually, my name is at Emmie, Emmie. So DM my personal or DM the group account, and we'll get you onboarded. So talk soon.
Yo, I gotta shout out Particle Inc.'s Twitter Spaces. These Twitter Spaces are fires. You guys definitely recommend you go and check them out. And especially recommend you go check them out every Tuesday when I'm dropping some charts and data for everybody on the market. They want market trends, so I'm gonna be popping by, dropping in some data. So highly recommend you guys check it out on the Tuesday. And then next, I'm gonna pass over to Planet Nine for some final thoughts, and then I'm bringing someone up. We got a question, it looks like, so we love that.
All right. I mean, we can pass it on to the questions if you like.
Yeah, actually,
So
let's do that. Let's do that. All things Totem Ham. How's it going, buddy? Brought you up. You have a question for the panelists? All right, guy dropped. That's it. I get it, man. Anyway, fun. I'm back to you, buddy.
Oh shit! Sorry, I was a little too slow there. Well, yeah, no, I mean, this is very nice. It's nice spending some time together, and I'd definitely love to connect with you guys over at other projects, and I'm sure we can set something up. the other spaces, it's always nice to spend time together in all these spaces, and you learn something new every day. And yeah, connecting with new people is always very much a joy.
Amen, baby. Amen. I brought up Graham. Graham, how's it going, buddy? Any questions for the panelists?
Yeah, we're good over here. Yeah, in terms of airdrops, I think that I mean, it's been proven that airdrops definitely do catch the eyeballs of the market. But I've often heard that if they're planned ahead of time, then they can be helpful, but they are dilutive, you know what I mean? But if you're releasing airdrops for like separate assets, then it's additive. Is that the case? Like if you're, new glasses, new tattoo on the face or whatever it is, that's additive. But anytime you're giving out a free airdrop to somebody, um, that person should be seen as they're going to liquidate that, and so that's more dilutive.
So you're seeing kind of, if I agree on this, like, I mean, obviously, what's the term for that? In the meme coin world, we hate Jeets, right? Those guys that dump immediately. So, but then, in the long term sort of thing, say with NFTs, I could see it being a lot less dumpable if we're doing, say, some sort of NFT asset or in game kind of cosmetic. I wonder if that could be something that would be held longer in the long run in comparison to, say, just a basic token. Well, that being said, Kearney, I'm sad you dropped, but I was going to actually get you to do a little final thoughts, even though you just hopped up here. But I guess with that being said, you guys, I'm wrapping it up. Normally, I only like to do these things for about an hour. So I'm happy. I want to thank all the listeners for coming in and joining. Right? What's a Twitter space without, or was it X space now? I guess. What is it X space without all of our listeners? So. I want to thank you guys again for joining. And we're gonna probably do one next week, as long as I'm not too busy with flying and Futurist conference in Toronto. So, also, if you guys are heading to Toronto for a Futurist conference next week, hit me up. I'd love to see you guys there. And I also got a list of side events as well. I'd love to hook you up with that as well. But that being said, though, I'm wrapping it up. We'll see you next week. Thank you again for all the panelists that joined. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. And we will see you next time. Let's go.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.